Avril, aka Mr. Getting It Done, Mr. Get Fit Don't Quit from Evolve Fitness. And today we have a wonderful special guest. All right, so she's known by Miss Triple B, aka Miss Barbara, aka Body by Barbara. You know what I'm saying? Barbara, if you just want to give us a what's up, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. Before we get into anything in particular, first and foremost, we want to thank you all for joining us. If you guys could like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We need all y'all. We're trying to share this lovely information to as many people as possible that we can reach, of course. So with today's topic, the reason why, which is it's just perfect right now. So we brought Barbara in because the topic today that we decided that we wanted to discuss on was what's your story? So what better way to tell both of our stories and also give you guys some motivation and some positivity in regards to fitness and just regular lifestyle in general, besides letting you guys know a little bit more about us. So Barb, I'm going to give you the floor first. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started,
Okay. All right. So a little bit about myself, like Deion introduced. My name is Barbara Charles. My full name, yes, that's my real name. And my
two first names.
Look, two first names. Body by Barbara. So how I got started, I actually always been active. So I always been in like activities, sports, dancing, stuff like that. So I always like to keep my body active. Then moving forward, like towards college, I actually wanted to join the track team. So, it's different when you're in high school versus college. You don't have people on your behind. Let me stop.
Let's keep it PG-13.
You don't have all right. So you don't have people, basically like telling you what to do, organizing different workouts for you. So actually when I was in college, because I wanted to do it because I was a walk-on, and if anybody doesn't know what that is, a walk-on is basically somebody who's not like sponsored by like scholarships or somebody that got scouted. So I was gonna do it on my own, and I was like, dang, I need to stay in shape, but I don't have a team. I don't have nobody to work out with. So I actually started continuing to work out by myself, and then it's different. So stuff got difficult. Like to do stuff on your own, you have to do a lot of research, like a lot. Excuse me, a lot of research. So I just basically kept my the workouts that my coach would do in high school, and I would just do that. And then the eating, which was different, like I said, you don't have that guidance. So the research I really had to do. So me wanting to join the track team in college kept me in that active mindset. So fast forward, that didn't work out. Everything happened for a reason, but that didn't work out. And I was like, you know what? I just want to stay fine. I just want to, stay looking good and everything. So let me go ahead and keep working out. So I wanted to gain weight, and I was like, dang, I don't know where to start, what to do. Like, I don't know none of that because I was never taught that. So I started to do my own research, researching like how to gain weight. So I would YouTube like certain stuff. I will YouTube and like Google a lot of things. And that got me in that journey of basically experimenting my body, a lot of trials and error, a lot of trials and errors. Literally, like you have to understand your body. So me going through that and understanding my body, what my body needs, which is like organization, understanding what works for me, what don't work for me, stuff, understanding like things don't happen overnight. Trust me, don't happen overnight. It takes 21 days to build a habit or break a bad habit. And it took me years to understand, because doing research, it's not a 1 month thing. It's not a 2 month thing. It's literally a time consuming thing. And on top of the doing the research, building that discipline, creating new good habits and taking out, the bad habits and everything. So during that journey, me understanding that, it helped me to understand my body. It helped me to understand like this is not an easy road. And if it was easy, everybody will be in the gym. If it was easy, like the gym will be packed every day, but it's not an easy thing, but it's very possible. So me going through all of that and understanding, that's what led me into training to help people understand what not having to do years and years of research and trial and error, so I can help them like understand, like, it does take time. You have to want it as bad as somebody who want to help you, because at the same time, people want to work out so bad, but they have to have that motivation as well. I cannot only be your push. You have to be that push for yourself as well, because I can't want something more than you want for yourself. So going through all of that, it helped me like dang, like this is a beautiful thing. Like, I understand how the body works. Why not help somebody else who's lost and confused and all of that? Help them, even if it's just to look fine. Like, it's okay. Or if it's for health benefits, it's perfect. Like, or a mixture of both, because this journey actually helped me, through my physical, through my mental. Number one, it helped me a lot in my mental, my emotional aspect, as well as it helped me get into my spiritual journey, which that'll be another story. But it helped me get into my spiritual journey. So, like, my story is, I'm here because I went in with one purpose, like just to stay fine, but I came out with like a different purpose. Like, I came out, God gave me this purpose to like help people. It's so crazy. It's like I came in with one mindset, which wasn't the mindset I wasn't supposed to come in, but everything happened for a reason. But I came out with a beautiful purpose, like a beautiful purpose. I can help myself, and I can help so many people, out there, to help them and guide them and show them, like, stuff get real. Like, this is not easy. Some days I'm like, I don't want to work out. Some days I'm like, ooh, I'm so pumped to work out. But just understanding, like, just like in life, you have your ups and downs. There's not going to be no consistent flow. Like, you just have to learn how to adapt with what life throws at you. And your fitness journey gonna do that to you, and in real life. And it got me to understand both. You can correlate either or. What you going through in your fitness journey, you can correlate with in life, and then vice versa. Like, it's a lot. Like, that's my story. Like, I went in with one purpose, which wasn't a too good mindset, but I came out with a beautiful thing at the end. Like, having to help people and help them understand, be their little therapist. At the same time, they're my therapist. Like, it's teamwork. Teamwork make the dream work. They help me, I help them. Like, and because I'm a coach, that doesn't mean that I stop learning. Or because I'm a coach, that doesn't mean that people who don't understand working out don't help me. They might not help me in the aspect of physically working out, but they give me some knowledge in other aspects of life. So that's my story. That's why I love to do what I do, because I learn from everybody, from the youngest to the oldest. In between, like, they give me so much knowledge. Like, you can learn so much from that, like, to better yourself, like, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And plus, in the back end is science behind it. So understand is releasing so much hormones and everything and all of that, but we're not going to go into details. But yeah, that's my story. That's my story.
All right. Now, I appreciate you sharing that with us. And I think it's really important for people to take a lot of the things that you had mentioned into consideration. So just to touch on a few of them, the fact that I touched on it on the last episode, that it's actually nothing in life, like you just said, that's going to be linear. Nothing's going to be where it's like, oh, okay, we're progressing. Something's going to hit the fan at some point. It's inevitable. And it's called life. But I think the most important part about that is not necessarily the situation that's happening. It's how do you plan on overcoming that situation? What experience have you went through with that situation that you can implement back into life and say, okay, I've learned this from that. Now this is how I'm going to moving forward. So there's a lot of different life lessons that need to be taught or learned, more so, and both, vice versa. And at the same time, like you said, being open-minded and understanding that it's not a one-way street, especially when we're working with clients, and we're not just helping them reach their goals. Like you said, there's been so many times where we could speak to clients, it's like, wow, like he or she just blew my mind, like I didn't even think about it that way. Or we're having a conversation, it ends up so deep, and they, they'll say something to us without them knowing that they're saying it to us, like it's a message for us. So like, in a sense, people would be like, "Yeah, that's God speaking," through somebody else as a vessel. For me, it's just more so at some point in time in the universe, just whatever's going on with you or whoever you're working with, it just comes full circle, and it knows exactly when to, it knows the right time. When you need the information, the right time will come when it's ready. And the fact of the matter of when you had first started your journey, I mean, again, I'm pretty sure you were pretty young, right? And the thing is, like, yeah, we just all like,
Yeah.
all right, we're just trying to get it. We're trying to, she was trying to look thick, trying to be summer right. But after a while, once you start to go through that journey and the psychology starts to pick up and you start to see how your mood changes, your physical aspect, and just mentally, you're in a different place because now you've set, like you said, new habits in place and broken, older habits, but you'll have that opportunity to also start doing what's called self-reflection, and a lot of people don't do enough of that. So being able to be in a position where your back is it's against the wall and you might be going through whatever the case is, and to be able to hone into it within that 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hours that you're in the gym, and understand that, okay, this is a form of therapy for me, but knowing how to exert that energy and knowing how to move forward outside of the gym. Because again, you going to the gym, the discipline and the consistency will roll into, like we said, everyday life factors. So it's not just, oh, the gym, the gym, the gym, because a lot of people, and we've heard it before too, working with other clients, that dude, like, coming to the gym, not only did it help me stay on top of my ish and as far as coming here, but now I'm doing better with time management, I'm doing better with this, I'm doing better at work. So it literally affects everything in a positive manner if the person's on the right track. So I mean, definitely makes sense for sure. And how long have you been coaching, if you want to give everybody a little idea?
Um, so I've been coaching since November of 2019. So almost 2 years. Almost 2 years I've been coaching, which is a total different ball game from from working by yourself. Like, I love it. Like, you understand how to maneuver, like, either with people or around people with a schedule, like with their injuries, their different types of lifestyle. Oh my gosh, it teaches you so much. It teaches you, like, not only are you busy in your everyday life, everybody else is busy in their everyday life. Like, time is not a factor if you make it a factor. Like, it's not a big issue, because a lot of us will be like, oh, we don't have time to do this, we don't have time to do that. And I've been around a lot of clients who had way busier lives than me, and they still make the time out to come and work out. It's not about that you're busy, it's about your priority. Like, is your body worth it? Like, is your health worth it? Like, I don't know, like, me coaching for almost 2 years taught me, like, everything in life is almost an excuse. If there's a will, there's a way. Like,
That's saying right there.
If there's a will, yes. If you want something,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna go for it. I don't care what nobody say. If you want something, you're gonna make time for it.
Exactly.
Go ahead. You look like you're
no, it's funny because we talk about it all the time. So, like, actually just doing it on video now and then telling people, like, it's the most common sense or the common stuff that we talk about all the time. People wanted to go to parties, people wanted to go out, people wanted to go buy this, want to go buy that. So you have the time, you have the money to go invest into something else. But the thing that's literally managing you in a sense of helping you walk, helping you breathe, helping you move, everything, that's the last thing that you're concerned about. Why is that not your number one priority? We're not telling anybody to come in here to look like a fitness model or a bodybuilder or anything of that nature. It's more so just taking care of your health. Like, it's your health, your mental health primarily, your physical health, of course, they all go together. But it's just very funny because people will always give excuses, and I think I told you this before. When I used to work at a certain job, I used to come day in, day out with my own food. And they're like, Carl, like, you look kind of good. Like, let me see what's up with you. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, well, what are you eating? Like, how do you cook? Da, da, da. I'm like, bro, I find all the same information online that you guys could do too. I didn't say it like that, but I'm like, yeah, I found it online. Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you find your information, you can find it. It's free, and you don't have to pay for meal prep. Now the thing is the time. So I would see these guys in the break room. They would be playing the Wii, so they're sitting down playing 30 minutes. I'm like, okay. So I had to think about it. I was like, okay, so you guys spend your whole break playing the Wii. I said, okay. So I asked him, like, all right, well, what do you do when you go home? Oh yeah, I just I'll just chill out or whatever the case is and play video games. I'm like, so basically, how long do you play video games for? Like 46 hours. So we spend a whole shift playing video games.
Woo!
It's different if that's your profession. I get it if it's a hobby. I'm not judging anybody, but the perspective that I was trying to give them was, okay, so you're spending 6 hours doing that, or you guys will watch a Netflix series and binge it, right? Why not take that Netflix series, throw it on your phone, and go in the kitchen, go cook at the same time? Like, you have to prioritize, one, two, but at the same time. So when people would come to us and be like, "Oh, I didn't have time to eat yesterday," I'm like, "Okay, that's fine, but why? What happened yesterday? Run me through your whole day." It's like, "Oh yeah, I woke up late, da da da, whatever, whatever. So I didn't do this, so I didn't do that." I'm like, "So there's a lot of I didn't do's. So how do we plan on changing that?" I'm not gonna sit here and get upset at you. Like, everybody has one of those days, but if you set yourself up for success in the beginning of the week, or technically, yes, Sunday. Some people consider Sunday the end, but it's technically the beginning of the week. But if you start on Sunday and take literally 1 to 2 hours to prep food for the next 3 days, that will literally save you for the next 3 days. You know exactly what you're eating. You know exactly whatever the macros are. You know it's there. So when you need to eat it, there's no additional impulses or impulsive decisions as far as going out to go get McDonald's or whatever the case is. Like, I know exactly what's here. I paid my money. I need to, get my money's worth. So it's just funny that you mentioned that, because it's like, people will always tell us that they don't have time. Like, you do have time. Because I'll tell people, I ask them again, but like, all right, well, what do you like to do for fun? I like to do da 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 da. Okay, how often do you do it? So like, they're so excited about it. I'm like, so you have time to do other things, but you don't have time to work on your body. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like,
Yeah.
it makes no sense to me, but I digress. But yeah, and I think the most important part as far as being a coach as well, we're constantly learning, right? So whether it's 2 years, 1 year, and the fact of you have experience with one-on-one coaching, you have experience with group training as well. And those are also two separate, whole different types of, training as well. So that's something you have to keep in mind. All right. But yeah, so
So
I guess I haven't told my story technically since any episode.
yeah, I was just about to say, what's your story?
I don't have one. Epi, that's it. No more. But yeah, so long story short, when did I start? In like, I believe elementary school, doing like flag football. So again, same concept, like always active. And I'd started in Florida, then moved up to North Carolina for 4 years with my mom. So from 6th to 8th grade, I was playing football as well too, and I was running track as well. So doing like more of like the quick sprints. I did a couple of relays as well, but that wasn't really the sport for me personally. And after a situation that I had with my back, I was playing football. Coaches back then, they're complete a-holes, to be honest with you. So I had one of my coaches, he was a savage, and I'm 5'7" at the time, maybe, I don't know, full 100 and I want to say anywhere between 160, 180 pounds in middle school. And there's a kid that's on the line that I'm supposed to be, so we're on defense and he's on offense. And the only thing that my coach said on the break was, "You see this big old Mar effort?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, he just had knee surgery. Knock him out." I was just like, "Knock him out or his knees out?" He's like, "Knock his knees out, blow his knees out." I was like, "Dude, you guys are savages." He's like, "Go for the knees." So what ended up happening, this kid was like, he had to be a solid 250 almost. And he was like 5'10-ish. He was pretty tall. But he was a big boy. So I went for his knees the wrong way. I actually went up front of him. So of course, when I hit him, he flipped and dropped on top of me. So from that point moving forward, I had back issues and I was like, I'm not playing football anymore. So all of high school, I didn't do anything until I got to, I believe it was 10th grade. I started doing weightlifting for, we had like a weightlifting team. Didn't take that serious either. I wish I did, because the foundation would have been a little bit different. But again, everything comes the way it needs to come. So after that ended up happening, I ended up going to college. Crazy part is, although I'm a coach now, but I went to college for audio engineering. So primarily for me, my hobby was making beats and making music and stuff with my uncle, because that's what he does. And so he was like, yo, like, let's find a college. So we ended up finding one. It's called SAE Miami out in North Miami Beach. So did that, graduated, and then I was like, I don't really think I want to work in a studio. Like, that wasn't for me. I was like, I love doing what I do, but I didn't really, it's not that I didn't care to work with the artists, but I was okay with just making the music and the sounds and figuring something out, right? Because a lot of people just think that it's music with audio engineering. It's like, dude, I could do movies, I could do Foley, I could do whatever I wanted to. So although that ended up happening, I ended up moving to Tampa, and then me being in Tampa, I needed something to do with my time because I didn't have family out there. So going to the gym was, the first thing that I did. So I went to UFit, kind of got, I was like, okay, I see a little something. And then I started taking it a little bit more serious. And what I ended up noticing was, as I was going to the gym, I had friends where I used to work, they wanted to join in. And it went from one person to two to four to five. And I'm like, might as well just run a group training. And it still never clicked with me. So while I was there, I used to go to Crunch Fitness as well. And I was like, you know what? I could work here. I like this place. Had no openings, whatever the case is. Things had happened in life. I ended up coming back to Palm Beach and ended up working for another company. And that company gave me the opportunity to really hone in regards to figuring out what type of path that I wanted to go in regards to training. So it ended up me being saying, I was like, okay, cool. I think I like group training a little bit more than one-on-one, but it used to be vice versa, because like with group training, it's a lot easier. So the only thing that I noticed, because of the type of person I am, I like to pay attention to people. So the group training became more counterproductive, because if I had somebody like Mr. Jones, who was a little bit more advanced, and Mrs. Smith, and she wasn't, if they're on two different levels, I have to stop, compensate for Mrs. Smith. And then Mr. Jones is like, bro, like, I'm just sitting here. Like, we need to keep moving. Not like that, but it's just like, okay, well, we got to wait for the person to, get it together. So then what ended up happening was staying there, just learning as much information, like we said before, learning from different people, being in two different demographics, understanding how just different areas work as well, how to communicate with different types of people, learning how to adapt. So when you were saying getting into a gym, and if there's a whole bunch of people, although we have the plan as far as what we're going to do, we got to switch things up on the fly. So I really love the fact that it gave us the opportunity to really think on our feet. Just like, well, off the bat, I should say, just off the top of our head, know exactly what needs to be done, doing it properly, making sure that they're safe, they still feel that same burn. But yeah, so it's like, it's been, what are we, 21, 20, 19, 18, it's been about 2 years in a big box, but almost 4 years as far as outside of this whole realm. So the one thing, like we said before, is just like, I love the fact that it's always something new to learn from a new trainer, from a more seasoned trainer, for somebody who's not even a trainer and just happened to learn this from somebody else that was really experienced. It's like, oh, how many times you walk into the gym and you see something like, that's actually pretty clever, I might have to try that. You get what I'm saying? So that's basically my story. Now I'm here. And same thing as far as the purpose. Like, I love helping people. Although music is still a passion of mine, I like to mix them together. So any videos or whatever that comes out, it'll usually still be my music. But at the same time, there's no better feeling than getting a text message or phone call or speaking to somebody in person saying like, hey D, or hey Barb, like, I feel amazing. Like, you've helped me so much. And it comes out of nowhere. It's so random sometimes, just like, it hits home. It just hits the heart a certain way. I'm like, I'm gonna need a little tissue. I ain't crying. I just, I seen the onion earlier. So it's just one of those things where it genuinely makes you happy. Like, that's what I do it for. A lot of people are in the fitness industry for the money, trying to sell everybody BS products and telling you to buy this, get this type of belt and sweatband and all that. But at the end of the day, these are just tools that are in your toolbox, right? Or the way that I think about it is your body is a canvas, right? You could use all these little things that you have around as your paintbrush, as you know, as your paint or whatever the case is. So you're using all these things to create the picture, the ideal picture that you want. And you're the only person that can do that. It's the same thing with the gym. The gym is all different accessories that you work on individual muscle groups, body parts to get the results that you want. So to think that, you know, buying this belt or this rubbing cream to put on your stomach to help you burn fat, like that's not how it works. You
I'm
feel me?
sorry.
So,
I'm sorry. It's not funny, but it's like, I'm sorry.
you know, it's funny.
Like,
Don't lie. It's funny.
Okay, that's funny because you know people trying to sell, like, you know, make money at the end of the day, trying to sell these people these products when there's natural ways. Before they came out with cream, before they came out with sweat belts, what you think? What do you think people were doing? They were not putting creams on their stomach. They were sweating, like they were using their natural body before weights. They were using their natural bodies to build that body. Like these creams,
Okay,
these things, yes, but that's just a, how you say, that's just a enhancement. Like that's just something to keep it going a little bit more. Like, but you don't need stuff like that. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
When you said that,
I know it triggered you, and that's my thing. It's like, so, and I don't make fun of it all the time, but I'm talking about myself. I make fun of myself all the time because I show people on IG all the time. Like I literally have one sole bag of just supplements. But the difference between me and all this other, you know, things that are going on around is the fact of everything that I'm taking is for a reason. Everything works synergistically. Do I need it? Absolutely not. But do I want to make sure that my organs are on point, my digestive system, I have, you know, prebiotics, probiotics, make sure that my multivitamins are, all my vitamins and minerals are exactly where they need to be. You know what I'm saying? So like zinc, vitamin D, or your omega-3s, because a lot of people don't eat fish. So these are like the staples that I think everybody should invest in, because this is more of like the micro side of things that people don't think about as far as health. So it's like, yeah, you could be eating fine and everything, but just because you're eating healthy doesn't mean that you're getting the proper nutrients within the food that you're eating for your body. So, you know, doing something as simple as like blood work and blood tests just to see where you are, if there's anything you're deficient in. Also doing an allergy test. So for example, some people not knowing that they're allergic to soy, to, you know, to dairy. I mean, dairy is kind of, you know, a lot of people are lactose intolerant,
that's
but
kind of like
yeah, a majority of of us all, because like I tell people, cows, goats, and all of them, they're the only people that drink their mother's milk. So the fact that we're drinking their milk, that should give some type of red flag. You get what I'm saying? So, and plus it has all this hormones and stuff, but we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. But yeah, so that's you know, that's that. But ultimately, you know, at the end of the day, I think the most important part besides our story is the fact of everybody understanding their own story and what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing, and making sure that they do have certain things in place during I guess like finding moment, and or the moment of enlightening is the way I would kind of, just that process, the whole process itself. So Barb, I don't know if you have any specific ideals or things that you would suggest, but I know my number one thing that I know we're really both big on is figuring out if this person has a support system, because you'll be surprised even.
Absolutely.
And I told you, yeah, specifically, one of the clients that I have, one of the young ladies who had a phenomenal like 50-pound transformation, but not having the support system at home from her significant other could have made a detrimental like difference in regard to her progress. So she could have said easily, F it all, I'm done, quit. But she decided to take that energy, that negative energy that he was portraying onto her, and honed in on it and pushed it into the gym to get the body she wants. So I don't know if you have anything personally that you wanted to add on to that.
So, like you saying in regards to the support system, even if you don't have any support system physically, you know, like find social media, page, or I know Facebook have groups where they have people who working out and they interact with each other. Like, find something positive, like, to tune into, and whether it's like podcasters, whether it's know, inspirational quotes, whether it's meditating, praying, and all that. Like, sometimes everybody don't have that support system. Sometimes you have to be your own support, like, and it takes somebody to build that strong mentality for you to be like, okay, you know what, I don't have anybody to root for me, let me clap for myself, let me build myself to this point where I'm so strong that any outside influence is not going to affect me, and I have tunnel vision, which is super tough. Like, a lot of times it's easier said than done. But if you can be your own support system, if you can be something positive to yourself, you won't have to rely on anybody to be that support system. Like I said, easier said than done, but find somebody. Like, if you have a friend, mom, dad, cousin, significant other, co-workers, people on your Instagram, like, you have to be vulnerable sometimes. And a lot of us are scared to be vulnerable. At some point I was, I'm not gonna lie. But you have to be vulnerable to step outside of that. Like, dang, let me go look for that support group. Like, not to be so much out of the topic, but some people go to like if they're addicts, they go to places where they find a support system where, like, if they need to get off that drug, they find other people who's like them, who are in a positive state, to help them get out of that funk. So even finding little stuff like that probably will help, because everybody's not going to have that 100% support system. And like us, find us coaches. We're going to be your support system as well. Like, if you can't find nobody outside of inside of your family or whatever, look for a friend, a stranger. Sometimes your stranger could be the best thing that ever happened to you. It's so crazy. Me and Deion, we were strangers. Like, I was vulnerable and I spoke up to him. Like, it's so crazy. Like, sometimes you have to open up that throat chakra, open up your vote, like, open up your mouth and speak, because sometimes you might be thinking the same thing as that person. Go to the gym and look for a person as lost as you. Hey, you wanna be a workout buddy? What's your name? What's your number? Let's exchange information. Since you lost and I'm lost, let's go find Nemo. Like, come on, let's go do it together.
That's a good one.
But honestly, like, sometimes, like, I see it for myself too. I see, like, strangers in the gym, they become friends or they become associates, and they just be workout partners or buddies or whatever the case may be. Like, finding that. And if you can't find that outside of yourself, the most important thing is to find that within yourself, because a lot of times people are probably not going to clap for you. You have to clap for yourself, and you can't be looking for that external
gratification. Agreed.
Sometimes it has to be, that gratification. Sometimes it has to be internal as well. Like, my support system is my family. What's up, gang? Let me stop. It's my family. Like, they're my support system. My friends, everybody who love me, they're my support system. But they have busy lives. Not every day I hear from them and say, you know what, Barbie, you're doing a good job, blah, blah. But I do hear that from them. I'm not going to take that away. But I don't hear it every day. So being that support system for myself, it helps me and it keeps me motivated. Like, sometimes when I don't feel motivated, I'll call a friend, call my sister, call somebody, like somebody who's willing to listen, or I listen to something inspirational, like, I don't know, something that will help me in that, in that direction. But that's what I have to say. Like, if you can't find support outside of yourself, be vulnerable or find it within yourself.
And I agree 100%, specifically with finding it within yourself. And I asked you that question because I wanted you to pull that out, because that's really important in a sense of, at any given time, if you don't have anybody else, all you can genuinely and truly rely on is yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in the event that, let's say, you're a person where you might like the external like notoriety, and people are like, oh yeah, like you're doing great, D, you're doing great, Barb. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, it makes me feel good, it makes me want to do more. But you shouldn't only rely on that. So in the event, let's say that you have somebody that's negative, and this is what you've been relying on is external, feedback and things of that sort to solely focus on. You get that external information, and somebody's just like, yo, that was garbage, that was trash. Da, da, da. Now you're gonna take that completely negatively, and that's gonna tank everything that you've been working on, as opposed to having that strong, solid foundation within yourself first, internally, and then transitioning everything else externally. So 100%, I completely agree with that. Excuse me, especially with we see it all the time. It's like, y'all didn't know each other, so now y'all walk out like best friends. Like, what's going on? Like, but it's cool though. I love the fact that there are people like that are comfortable with approaching people, and because we've been around enough clients and members, we know what time it is. We peep game every time it happens, and we're just like, okay, she lost or he's lost, or this is his first time at this gym, clearly. And if it's one of those situations, then we might just take the opportunity to just go out there and be like, hey, like, how you doing today? And just let them know, like, I know, trust me, I know. So let me help you without making you feel uncomfortable or making you feel like you're stupid, if that makes sense. So I think it's just really important just to, do that as well too from time to time. So hold on.
Absolutely.
1 second. All right, cool. So Barb, I'd love to ask you another little thing, because I've done this myself personally. But in your opinion, it doesn't have to be a certain amount, but in your opinion, what are some of the things that you've been noticing right now in the fitness industry that's causing more of like a negative tone, or negative, like shining a negative light on it more so? We're gonna do negative and positive, of course.
So what I have noticed is, okay, I feel like this is not even just in the fitness industry, but I've noticed like they put out an image of a specific body type that you're supposed to look at, and that body type is the fit body type. At the end of the day, like, because I'm going to speak from a woman's standpoint, and because I hear a lot of women right now going on, they want that slim thick look, or that fit thick look where their waist is and their bottom half is boom. Like, yes, that is very possible, but you have to understand to love yourself and love your own physique. Not everybody body type is gonna be small waist, big butt, big hips, whatever the case may be. Like, you have to understand the body type that they put out in the fitness industry is to sell, to grab, have you guys gravitate towards that idea, that image. But that image is an image. It could be picked, it could be, enhanced and all of that. Like, to not focus on that. You have to focus on your own body type. Everybody's body cannot be like that. It cannot. And if you focus on like looking at that body type, you're gonna be discouraged within yourself, because then you're gonna be like, how come my butt is not going like that? How come my hips are not like that? But you have to understand genetics play a part, your body type play a part, how you're eating, how you're training play a part. So it's just like, I feel like that has a negative impact on a lot of people, because they want that image, not knowing that people are out here getting surgery. People are out here getting fillers. Like, you don't know what's behind the scenes. You see the finished product, but you don't know what happened behind the scenes, because sometimes people pop out of nowhere. Even some fitness people get enhancements, like, not to focus on like, I want to look like that. Focus on how you want to look like and feel like, because even if you look like that person or whatever, you want that specific image. What about your internal? What about that? Because you look like that and feel like ish.
It's true.
I feel like that have a, huh?
No, so you're absolutely right.
I feel like that have a negative impact on what's going on now in the fitness industry, because it don't miss the beat. every woman that I came across that asked me, that's what they want. That flat stomach, that big butt, those whatever, the wide hips or whatever. But I'm just like, everybody body type is beautiful. You could be lean and toned. You could be athletic looking. You could be thick and toned. You could be thick and fit. Like, as long as you're happy and healthy on the inside and mentally, that should be your main factor. But I can't speak for everybody because, of course, this is my opinion. But I feel like that has a lot of negative impact on a lot of people wanting to actually, get fit and all of that, because they see this one image and they think like that's the ideal, which in that case is not. Everybody body type is beautiful. I've seen women who's voluptuous and I'm like, woo, girl, your body love banging. And I've seen girls who are athletic. I'm like, woo, girl, your body is banging. I've seen petite women. I'm like, woo, your body's banging. Like, everybody body looks good for themselves. Like, you don't have to have that one physique that you're looking for. Like, however your body starts to form with it, like within you or like on you, you should learn how to love that and appreciate that. And I feel like a lot of people are getting mentally, mentally messed up because they see that one that one image, like, right. And then like you said in the beginning, all these products that they selling, all these unnecessary things that they don't need. But I'm not gonna speak on that because that's their business. But yeah, all that.
And that's a whole nother conversation too. But I think the one thing you touch base on that a lot of people don't put into consideration is your genetics. Like, just be like, for example, if we got a small petite girl that comes to us, 4'11", 5'2", 5'4", whatever you want to call it, but she a little shorty, right? And you're telling me that you want to be thicker, but you're literally like, but your frame is very thin, like very thin. I'm not talking about short, thick, nothing of that nature, but just slim, just complete slim. How am I supposed to help you grow a pair of glutes? I almost cussed too, but a pair of glutes and thighs that are proportionate for your body type. That's what a lot of these girls don't think about. So we've both worked in an area specifically right now where we are, and there's a lot of surgery that's being done. And the issue with the surgery is some of them do look good. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, and I respect the fact that you come in here to work out because you knew what time it was. But the ones that don't, and it just looked like a TV dinner. It's just a big box. Like, there's a little hook on the side of their hips, and it just looked like a big box. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not body shaming anybody. But what I'm saying is the same money and the same effort that you put in to go get this done, you could have reinvested that same money into yourself and with a coach that can help you do it the right way. Now, not even to be on a negative note, but the thing that was crazy to me was the fact of, I also mentioned on the last episode, was the one part that I don't like about not even the surgery. I don't care for the surgery. It's your personal business, and as far as option of doing that. But the issue is nobody is really shedding light in the sense of your after. So post surgery, the pain that you go through, sometimes the medication you have to take, and forbid that it wasn't done right, and the infection that you might have, because I've seen the worst thing ever, and I would never wish anybody to ever watch that video. But long story short, somebody showed me a video of a girl that got, implants on both sides, but I think it was more of an injection. And she went down, I think, to Colombia, wherever it was down south, South America. And they used the wrong solution, of course. So because it got infected, they had to, unfortunately, make an incision on both cheeks, remove the implants. So literally all you saw was just muscle. I was just like, yeah, no. I was like, this is absolutely disgusting. So from that point, it made me very weary when, young ladies would come to me like, hey, I'm thinking about getting this done, getting that done. I'm like, okay, like, as a coach, I can't tell you what to do, but I can give you other suggestions and recommendations to help you from having to deal with that. And that's usually the number one thing I tell them. I'm like, okay, so what's your time for recovery? Oh, 4 to 6 weeks. All right, cool. So my thing with that is a lot of ladies, and I have one person I know that tend to sometimes, add weight And that will put you in a more depressive state when you're ready to go back to work out, because you're like, damn, man, I just put on 20 pounds. Like, I don't feel like working out anymore. So again, people just don't understand the pros and the cons. Yes, the pro is that it's getting done immediately, but the con is that you still have to deal with it on the back end. And also when you get older, be ready for all that. So it's just one of those things. Yeah. I just wanted to kind of get your insight on that and see how you felt about that too.
And to add to the surgery, a lot of people don't know, even when you do surgery, you still have to work out. You still have to work out. I see a lot of women who just got their body. Guess what? They still have to work out. They have to keep it tight. It's literally, I don't know, I can't speak on the surgery aspect because I don't know in detail, but if you're getting like fat, transfer into a certain spot, guess what? You can lose fat, that. Like, you still have to go to the gym. You still have to maintain. I used to work at this I will say this company.
Plug.
And I see like every morning she got her body done, like breasts, booty, everything. Body look amazing. Older woman. But guess what? She's still in there putting on work. She's still in there every day, consistently making sure like everything is still tight. Like either way, whatever route you're trying to take, you still have to go to the gym.
Exactly.
Like that surgery is the external, like it's the image. What about your inside? It's like you're like a apple. Right. You look good on the outside, but your inside is rotten. And people don't understand that. Like, I'm not opposed to surgery either. Like, I'm not gonna body shame anybody. I'm not gonna body shame anybody. Right. Like, do surgery all you want. But if you're gonna do that, don't do surgery and still eat like crap. At least do your surgery, have your banging body, and change up your inside, because you need to protect your gut. Gut health is very important. You have to make sure you're getting your vitamins, your nutrients, all of that. Like, if you're gonna get the surgery on the outside and get the easy way out instead of like going to the gym, at least take the time out to make sure your internal health is good as well. But yeah, that's all I had to say on that. I don't want to speak too much on that.
No,
that's just
you good, and it's 100%. Like I could still dive in on it, but I'm gonna leave that one alone. But at the end of the day, I think the most important part is, again, as you're building your story, understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, just run through all the different options. And sometimes you got to play devil's advocate. So just because your friend does it, just because you see it done, doesn't mean that it's for you. We're not people to, again, y'all grown. We can't tell you what to do and what not to do, but we could just genuinely we'll give you our personal advice. So Barb, what I want to ask you now, in your opinion, and because you show your workouts as well too. In my opinion, I think you have a phenomenal physique. But what would you say?
Thank you.
In your opinion, of course, what would you say in your opinion is probably the thing that a lot of people just have a huge misunderstanding on, in the sense of whether it's how you look, them thinking that you just naturally look that way, or you might not have to work as hard, or like, what are just some of the stereotypical things that you hear from, whether it's men or women, that you're just like, nah, that's not how I got it, or I wasn't that fortunate. So drop a few on me.
All right. Well, thank you about the compliment. But yeah, my physique, like, I get a lot of compliments on my physique. Look, I get a lot of compliments. Number one, yes, genetics does play a big part on my physique. I am a petite woman. I am very I have a small frame. Okay. But thank God for my mama. She gave me something back in there.
He can't take her nowhere.
But yes, shout out to my mom. Thank you, mom. But she gave me something back there. But like, people will come into me and be like, girl, you have a nice butt. You have a big butt. You already had that. I'm like, yeah, I had, a little bit something in the beginning, because I'm small, but I still had a little butt on me. but I still worked hard, and I still, worked out, make sure I ate good, to make sure, whatever genetics I was blessed with, to enhance it, but naturally. Like, a lot of people will be like, well, you have this, you have that. Like, naturally, my arms are cut up, but I still have to work out to make sure they still stay in a way that they're naturally cut up. Because I got to a point where I wasn't working my arms out, and they started looking like so lifeless. And I'm like, ooh, I don't think I like that. I rather just keep my Tina Turner arms, like. But I will get a lot of people to say, like, oh, well, you probably already had that. You probably already, yeah, I did. I'm not gonna deny that. I'm very transparent, like, with people. Yes, I did have that, but it didn't always look like this, or it wasn't always the size, whether it's my body, my arms, whatever the case may be. I still had to work towards enhancing that naturally. So yeah, little things like that. What about you?
I think my biggest one is, legs. Same thing off of my mom's side. A lot of people don't understand the fact of how genetics work. I don't know it into 100% detail, but from what I understand, the majority of it does come from your mother's side. So I was fortunate enough to get my mom's side in regards to like thighs and our back. So all of the ladies and on my mom's side, wide backs. So I was like, perfect. So I was like, it just happened to be that because I'm bodybuilding, this works perfectly. But the main thing was the fact that a lot of people, when I would wear shorts, long pants, whether they're black or light, because light makes your legs look a little bit bigger because of the color. But I would literally have people stop and like just look at you awkward. I'm like, bro, y'all act like y'all never seen somebody before walking in the gym, and then they'll stop and go, oh my god, like your legs, bro. Like what do you do for your legs? And I'll tell them casually, like, thankfully I'm gifted genetically that I already have legs. I said, but the key is that I have to go in and work the crap out of them, in a sense of to maintain them, one, and two, if I was given something as I don't want to say a gift, but this is, to me, it's a blessing. So it's like, most dudes don't have legs, so I'm going to smash them. You see what I'm saying? So for me, that made more sense. So that was the main thing that I've gotten from a lot of people. The second thing, I could count to no more than 5 times so far within like the last 4 or 5 years of me training. And this time actually happened like 3 months ago. Somebody asked me if I was on steroids. I was like, no. I was like, I don't take any PEDs. I was like, but at the same time, it was like a bittersweet, because it was like a compliment, because I'm like, I know I'm a natural, and the fact that I can look like I'm not natural to some people is like the best compliment to have in the book. But then it shoots your ego a little bit, because like, damn, like, I don't take drugs. Like, I don't, and again, nothing against anybody that takes PEDs, but it's just like, man, you make me feel some type of way. But it's just like, okay, well, all right, I've been doing good so far. But those are, I would say, the main 2 things. But it doesn't even matter to me anymore. It just is what it is. So when people ask me, what do you do for legs? Work them, and work them hard. Keep pushing. How many people do you know in the gym, primarily men, that don't work on legs at all? We see them all the time. We call them popsicles. They're working on a big old upper body, and your legs is thinner than your girl's leg. We got something to ask you about. Like, if you can fit in your girl's pants, that's a little questionable, sir. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's that. But I think I'm trying to think if we had any other topics. Let me double check. I think that was the meat and potatoes of everything. Now the thing that I usually do, Barb, at the end is we'll kind of give like trainer tips, like fitness tips, anything in your personal opinion that you feel like you've been seeing frequently or haven't been seeing that you would like to share with people. So we're gonna do now.
Okay. So some tips I would like to give, like Deion mentioned in the beginning, like if well, I'm a branch off what he said, but if you're looking to get into this journey, because it is a journey, this is something that you're gonna have to do for the rest of your life.
All of it.
And I feel like people don't understand that. It's like they think it's stop and go. This is not stop and go. Like, and if for people who don't know what that is, it's a gas station. But anyways,
convenience gas station. Like, then tell them where you find it at.
Gas station.
Where you find it at?
And West Palm Beach.
In the where though?
And yeah, first time. Let me. But this is this is a journey. Like this is something that you don't start then stop. Because if you stop, it stop with you. Like my tip would be if you're looking, to start your journey, number one, you can't get prepared for it. Because I hear a lot of people be like, "Well, I'm not ready to come into the gym," and it boggles me because I'm like, "What you mean you're not ready? I don't get it. Like, how do you get ready to go into the gym? The gym is for you to build that physique, for you to get healthy. Like, but that's besides the point. But to understand, like you said, why are you doing what you're doing? There's an emotional attachment to that because yes, like I said in the beginning, I wanted to get fined, but obviously there's an emotional attachment to that. Why do I want to get fined? Like, we're not gonna get in detail, but why why you want to get fined? Like, go deep into why you doing what you want to do. Like, is it health purposes? Is it for you to clear your mental? What is it like for you to enjoy your kids? For you to do something? Like, you have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And then organization. Our body loves organization. Understanding, yes, life happens. Life gonna throw you curveballs where sometimes it throw off that organization, but learning how to adapt and be like, okay, it threw me this, let me adjust that. But organizing like meal prepping, limiting certain stuff that you intake into your body, making sure you're giving your body enough of the good stuff and exiting out the bad stuff, because a lot of people, they'll go to the gym and still eat what they want to eat. Yes, it's possible to reach your goal and still do that, but like I said, you're gonna be an apple. You're gonna look good on the outside, but what about the inside factors? So making sure you're understanding why, what I need to do in order to get this health right or this body right. Understanding your genetics, your physique, your blood type, understanding like it's so many things. Like understanding not to watch anybody. That's a big thing I want to say. Do not contrast. Please do not do that because it will shoot your confidence like that. Do not compare and contrast because everybody's body type is so different. Like you'll even look within your family. Like everybody's body type is different within their own family. So just imagine somebody outside of your family. But not to compare and contrast, and just to make sure to create that discipline. Let me tell you, that discipline is your main baby, because even when stuff go out of whack or not in the way that you plan it, that discipline is gonna make you have a strong mental, be like, okay, this not happening in the way I want it. I know how to adapt. I know how to adjust. I know how to do everything to maneuver like around that without getting frustrated, because it is going to be a frustrating journey. You are going to be frustrated because you've been doing something for a month and you're like, okay, where's my results? But having that understanding and that knowledge of what and why and how and whatever the case may be, you won't get too frustrated because it takes time. It takes time to build your body. On average, like 10 pounds of muscle is the healthy way to get it every year. Like 10 pounds of lean muscle mass, that's healthy for your body. But a lot of people don't understand that concept. Like they'll look and be like, dang, only X amount of months, only that's what I'm gonna get. But you have to understand, you get it fast, you lose it fast, especially when you don't have discipline, because you don't know how to keep it. Like, and vice versa. If you lose it fast, it come back and sometimes more than you wanted because you didn't have that discipline. So understanding all those factors, like those are a few tips I would say. Like your mental, a lot of people don't understand your mental is super important, and I'm a touch on that. Like I went through depression, anxiety. I have PTSD, and if nobody know what that means, like post-traumatic stress disorder, like so many stuff. But it helped, working out helped me like basically clear out the fog in my mental. And a lot of people can't think straight because their mental's so foggy. It's so clouded up here that they don't even know where to start, because if you cut off your head, you don't have a body no more. Like, your body's lifeless. Like, you have to understand that this part, it plays a big factor. Like, understanding how to, that's why I mentioned in the beginning, like meditating, praying, whatever works for you, going outside, clearing your mind, staying away from a lot of negativity, even self-negativity, self-sabotage, because sometimes we do it to ourselves. But learning how to clear out that mental space in order for you to even function properly. Because a lot of times, most of what's going on where people can't stay motivated is because it's something going on in here, and they don't know how to control this. So because they don't know how to control what's in their mental, they can't physically like visualize it. They can't like project it in their real life. So everything gets clouded up. So I would say, start with your mental. If you need to go to a therapist, if you could go to a trusted friend, family member, speak on stuff that you're going through and all that, because a lot of times people are fighting something up here and they can't get it right. Like, they don't know where to start because everything is blocking their third eye, blocking. I don't want to get too spiritual, but something is blocking what you need to see. Like, you need to lift it up a little bit. But I would say those are my tips, like understanding the who, what, when, where, and why, how, clearing up that mental, doing anything doing anything to help you, like, and making sure you have those positive support system. Because like I said, when it comes to that mental, it's easy to mold. Our brain is like Play-Doh. Literally, our brain is like Play-Doh. You can mold it and shape it into anything you want. Same thing when people are speaking to you, that's molding yourself into. So if somebody's always saying something negative, you start to believe that about yourself. So you want that positive feedback, or you want that positive aura around you and all of that. So I'll say a few, like, that's my tips, making sure, your nutrition is, you cleaning up your eating habit. I'm not gonna lie, growing up in a Caribbean household, you already know, like, we love to eat.
Yeah,
and sometimes you love to eat, it's not the best thing for you, because it not even just being Caribbean, like being Southern, like whether you're white, black, Asian, whatever, if you grow up in I don't know if it speaks for the Southern aspect because I'm not from up north, but fried chicken, collard green, nut bones, macaroni, like, those are good. Eat them in moderation, but that don't mean because they taste good, they're good for you. So understanding, like, even if you grew up on a certain like eating habit, you have to learn how to change that, especially if you need to work on your health and work what's best for you, because at the end of the day, eating those stuff, you might not see it affect you now, but it catches up to you. So understanding, like, cleaning up your habits, your bad habits, and bringing in good habits. That's my few little tips, even though that was a lot, but
you're giving them too much on your first feature. You got to give them something to come back for, friend. But nah, you're good. You're good.
Trust me, don't worry, I got a lot.
I believe you. You're good. Everything you said is primarily some of the things I would say too, but I think the ones that I really wanted to touch base on, and you kind of hovered around them, was as you're going through this journey and figuring out why you're doing what you're doing in regards to your journey as of right now and how to approach it. Besides everything else we've been saying, the one thing is, if you don't have the support system, yes, you're going to be your own support system. If you do have the support system, I think it's really important to sit down and really reflect in regards to all the people that are in your circle, Because if some of these people, like you said, are very negative and they're very persistent with that, and they're not bringing any additional value to your life but negativity, remove them. It's that simple. And it doesn't even have to be, hey, we can't be friends, but it's just like, hey, I'm working on myself right now. You know, we could be friends from afar. We can still check up or whatever the case is, and just keep it, you know, mutual in that sense. But it's like, don't let somebody else knock you off your high horse. I mean, stay humble, of course, but don't let somebody else tell you that you can't do this and you can't do that, because this person doesn't know you like you know yourself, right? So it's kind of like when we train and coach people, I always tell them, hey, let's try this. Hey, let's try that. We've tried 4 different types. I'm like, well, it's like, wait, I like this one. All right, cool. Because I need to understand what works best for you and what works for your body. So if I don't know your body better than you do, why should somebody know what's best for you as well in that same case? Which also segues into opening your mouth, communicate, like you said earlier too, opening up that throat chakra and being able to communicate with people. Let me not try to use these big old words and catch a tongue twister, but being able to explain to people like, hey, this is where I am right now within my journey. This is what needs to be done. And if you need the help, another thing as well too, besides communication, which also goes together, is being vulnerable, be open, and being okay with accepting information. Now, i.e., if you're going to take this information, like we're saying on IG or whatever the case is, take it with a grain of salt, especially for the people that, although they might have a decent page, but it's crazy how we were talking about how most people that are on these fitness channels don't really talk. You get what I'm saying? We just see a whole bunch of video, but I don't know who I'm connecting with. So you could have taken 20 minutes to come up with that whole video. But remember, all of this is literally scripted to some extent. Like, we have to know when exactly, what angle, doing this, doing that, make sure it looks good. How many takes did you have to do? And it looks perfect when it's pushed out to you, but don't understand the back end in the sense of maybe this person had crappy quality form and somebody had to actually come in, fix it, and then they had to redo the video. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, there's a lot of, like, ignorance is bliss is what I'm saying. So take everything with a grain of salt, especially when you're online. Still learn it, still research it, and do your own due diligence is something I've been saying since day one. So the main thing is, again, making sure you remove any negativity outside of your life, being open in a sense of receiving information, communicating, but also just being vulnerable at the same time, because this whole process, you cannot be stubborn. You can't be that person that comes into this fitness journey and say, all right, cool, I'm about to go put on 10 pounds of muscle, 12 pounds, 15, 20 pounds, however you feel like you're going to end up doing it, and think that it's just going to be just like that. It doesn't work that way. There's so many different angles, which I'm not even going to veer off on it, but those are the main things that I would say. Other than that, just make sure that you're constantly learning and just being safe, right? Understanding the importance of sleep, keeping your stress levels in check. Your hormones in general should be in balance as much as possible. We all go through everyday life stuff. Sometimes we don't get enough sleep. I'm one of those people, and it's not the healthiest way to run your life, but if it's your lifestyle, you have to make things fit. You have to, move accordingly. But those are my main things for people, is just understanding those things, because we were just talking about how people come into the gym and they're so scared and they're so what's the word that they use? It starts with I can't remember, but intimidated. That's it. They felt so intimidated, right? And they come in, they're just like, you see them like they clench up, they clam up. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm like, why? Because I'm in front of everybody. I'm like, okay. So at some point, we do have to learn all this stuff. And I'd prefer you to work on free weights and barbells and dumbbells as opposed to machines, because one, not that it's an issue, but we're not necessarily dealing with anything specific like a doctor's note saying, hey, keep them on light weights, et cetera, which everything in the gym has purpose. But if I could get you on things that are more compound, so like squats, deadlifts, bench presses, whether it's male or female, we'll be able to use multiple muscle groups as well too, and still develop overall, as opposed to having to wait on somebody with one machine, et cetera, et cetera. So being able to just be open with a person, and just because, like, I remember when I first started at said company, a lot of people were intimidated to talk to me because I hate to say it, this black dude with a bald head and kind of swole, and they're like, until you start smiling with people and you start, being yourself, and they're, well, not even being yourself, but them seeing your personality and how you are. It's like, oh, you really got the energy all the time. I'm like, yeah, besides 6 o'clock in the morning when I first get here. Yeah. So, so it's just one of those things where you knew what time it was. Damn, we throwing shade like ain't no sun out here in these streets. But
Well, it's sunny over here.
huh?
It's sunny over
But yeah, so it's just like those are the things that I feel like are really important, because I couldn't tell you how many people I've wanted to approach. But also as a coach, I've come to the point of understanding that it's not everybody you can help right there and then. Some people just, it's there when their time is right, they'll know, or when the time is right, they'll come to you. And I've had that happen. I was like, I've seen you here for the last 2 months. I know you've needed my help. I just didn't reach out because I could tell that you were still trying to figure things out. And they would always tell me, what? Like, you noticed that? I really appreciate you. Like, I didn't know that. If you wanted to, you could have come in. But it's just one of those things where it's kind of like parents with their child, right? So as we're growing up, or whatever the case is, our moms, our dads, whatever the case is, will tell us like, hey, don't do this. And we got all mad, like, oh, telling me what to do, whatever, not knowing that it's in our best interest. Because it's one of those like, listen to me now, because if not, I'm going to tell you I told you so. But everything that they're doing is more so, it's for a reason, right? And it's the same thing with us. So I always tell people, although they have us as a resource, not everybody wants to use that resource, and that's okay. So giving it enough time sometimes to be able to speak up and be vocal, be open, and communicate with people. Like you said, time, everything takes time. So other than that, I mean, that's everything. I didn't know if you had any other comments, concerns. Where can we find you at as far as your social media platforms and whatnot, Barb?
Say that again.
I said, where can we find you in regards to your social media platforms?
All right, so you can find me on my main page, Miss Giggles. So MISS_GIGGL3S. And then you can find me on my fitness page, which is Triple B. The E in triple is a 3, and then Body by Barbara, BARBARA. Yeah, so those are my 2 main platforms.
And just in case that was hella confusing for anybody, I'm gonna have it in the description just in case. You know, I'm dyslexic. She's like 3 for the E with the who and the who. So we're gonna put everything in underneath. I just wanted to give you the opportunity, so just in case if somebody's listening to it real quick, they're able to type it in. But we'll still have everything linked in underneath. But again, with this episode, we just kind of wanted to give you an understanding of who we are and making it more personable, right? But still tying in fitness for everybody that we're trying to reach out to, just the message that we're trying to convey, and just trying to bring as much value to your success in regards to your journey moving forward. Like I said, if you guys wouldn't mind, like, share, subscribe. You guys know where to find me as well too. It's going to be Evolve Fitness, FLA. And I'll have all that information at the bottom as well too. But I don't know if you have any other farewell remarks, Barbara, that you'd like to give the lovely family.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Deion, for having me on here. Thank you so much for letting me speak. And of course, for your family, stay tuned. Listen to him. He got great advice. A lot of experience on his belt. Come. He's so dramatic. But yeah, always come back and listen, because sometimes, you might come across this and you need to hear something. You probably need to hear something for that day, for that moment, for that inspiration, motivation. So you guys, like he said, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share with a family member, a friend, associate. Like, don't forget to share the knowledge. It's free. Share it. Like, go ahead and share that knowledge.
Like we say, anything that's free is good for me. Okay, that's what I grew up on, and not everything that's free is good for you. But the main thing is, Barbara will be back. Okay, so y'all stay tuned. We got a lot more topics and a lot more we could dive into. So if you guys have any specific things that you want us to tap into, just drop them in the comments. You guys could DM us as well too, because we're going to be dropping small clips of this on IG and other social media platforms, just so you guys have that weekly motivation, man. I think it's really important just to have something like this to start off the week on a positive note, because, man, listen, Mondays are rough to wake up for the morning, especially if you're going to work. So just having that little 30-second like clip is like, all right, like it's time to get the day started. I think that'll definitely make a difference for people. So, like everything Barb said, just definitely come back, because there's going to be certain times, like for example, I can count how many times that I've watched the same video in the same year, but learned so much information just because I came back to it. It's just like reading a book, and you read it again twice, you're going to learn a lot more. You watch a movie once, you watch it again twice, you start analyzing it a little bit differently. So same concept, but we're not going to hold you guys up. Like we said, we greatly appreciate you all for tuning in with us, and we will see you next week for the next episode. Peace.
Hey, what'd you say? What's your motto? Hey, what's your motto?
Get fit and don't quit. You heard me. We get fit and we don't quit. Y'all stay hungry. Y'all stay grinding. Y'all stay healthy. All right, I'm done being extra, y'all.